Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today. We're gonna get started in just a little bit. So I'm going to keep the comments on, just allowing people to get in to the room, but once I start talking, I am going to turn the comments off. Good afternoon, I hope you're doing well. I will be turning the comments off just because I don't want distractions or really like any questions like that as we're going through everything, but I will turn the comments on after we're done. This is going to be about maybe an hour max, so it's not going to be a long live session today. This is part of the healing series that I'm doing. So we are going to be doing one healing series session a month. I wanted to do more than one a month, but just with my calendar, collective reads, personal reads, just kind of everything else that I'm doing, it's just not really obtainable for me to get the content out there, and because it does take me some time to get the coursework prepared for everybody. So today we're going to be talking about addiction. In May, we're going to be talking about abuse, okay? And I just want to let you know that we will be talking about all sorts of addiction today. So this is alcohol, Uggies, and intimate addiction. We're gonna say intimate for all of that. I want to let you guys know on the next live series, when we are covering abuse, when we're talking about intimate abuse, we're not going to be talking about that on the live spread. I will really be talking oh my gosh, words, right? Thank God Mercury retrograde's ending here in like 2 days. But I'm going to be covering that before we start the live next month as well. So if you guys have ever encountered intimate abuse or anything like that, I strongly encourage that you seek outside guidance or personal guidance on those things. I also did just want to let you guys know I'm not a licensed professional, okay? If you need further guidance aside from this live session, please seek it. But I personally, I've healed all of my addiction through myself and source, so it's not 100% needed for you to seek outside validation to heal through these things. Everything that comes up within you can be healed within you, and that's what I solely believe, all right? But, and you know, you guys also need, we're gonna cover this too. There was something in here that I wanted to go over with you guys. And I thought I wrote it down, but it's okay. Alrighty. So for the healing series, I am going to have new services attached to my link in bio. It is going to be available after today's live session. So they are going to be 30-minute counseling sessions. I will be holding every Monday for you guys to schedule. Okay, so if you guys need further guidance or you need somebody to talk to, I'm available for you that way. Okay, so if you guys are seeking the course, right, because like we're just going to be talking about things today, like what it is, what it entails. I know it's not going to be everybody's favorite topic, especially when we're talking about alcohol, because everybody is so conditioned, like that's the way to have fun, it's the summer, it helps you loosen up and everything. But we're going to be tapping into really the root and the cause of why we feel that way. A lot of the time it is due to conditioning. Okay, if you are struggling with any, like super struggling with the fact that you cannot stop within your own right or within your own will, then I really encourage you to seek rehab, to seek counseling, NAAA programs. Okay, we're briefly going to go over kind of the 12 steps and how they incorporate into spirituality, right? Because me personally, I've never been to AA or NA or anything like that, okay? I used to go to NA with my mom, but I never struggled with UGS as an addiction. I never really fully struggled with alcohol as an addiction, but I used to use it as a form to mask how I was feeling, mask how with what I was going through. And so it's just been a really freeing experience for me to step into full sobriety. After I cut alcohol out, I was still, using greens and everything like that. And I actually stepped out of that bracket almost a year ago as well. So we're going to be talking about the effects, because I know when you're talking about greens and alcohol, that's two of the hardest things that nobody wants to admit, that it is a form of an addiction. Anything that you're doing out of balance, out of moderation, is an addiction. All right. So it doesn't have to mean that you're full blown addicted to something. And if that's the case for you, then I highly encourage rehab or some outside guidance. Okay, because I'm not that kind of counselor. I don't have that kind of time and energy to incorporate, but I am going to be having healing coaching available through my link in bio if you guys need to discuss anything, if you guys want healing guidance, right? Because I am a clairvoyant intuitive, I'm highly gifted individual, I channel spirit, I channel messages. So this is almost like getting a spiritual counseling session, right? Like, who better to get your guidance from than the Most High? That's honestly more beneficial, I feel, than even going to some counselors and everything, because most counselors will just be like, oh, you need to go on this medication or you need to do this, versus trying to heal and find out what led you to these things in the first place, because a lot of the time it's used as a form of masking, okay? And that's what we're really going to be talking about today. So just for joining today's live session, I am going to give you guys a specific code that you can use to my link in my bio. If you are interested in booking a session, you will get 50% off your first session. And for every third session that you book, you will continually get 50% off, okay? And this, of course, is going to be cross-posted to the tube of you. So if everybody just wants to kind of siphon in, I'm going to leave the comments open for about 4 more minutes now. And then once it gets about 1:10, we are going to be getting started. I'm going to go ahead and turn the comments off. The comments will be back on towards the end of the reading after we get done through the coursework, just because my ADHD cannot entertain people in the comments and the coursework as well. If you guys have any questions, this is why I highly encourage you guys to grab a pen and a piece of paper. So if you have any questions, you can write that down. So we still have 4 minutes. So if you need to grab a notebook and a pen or paper, go ahead and do that. There is a lot of good things in here for you guys, or even if you guys are also like me, that's kind of recovering and you want to give some guidance to other people, you can write down pinpoints and share it with other people who may struggle and battle with addiction. You can share it on your content with other people who may struggle and battle with addiction. You can share it on your content. I really don't care. I'm not that type of person that is like, oh, don't share my content, it only has to come from me and you can't talk about the same things as me. Absolutely not. And especially when it comes from addiction, like, the more people that we get to talk about it and educate about it, the way more beneficial it is for everyone, because this is very, very much what leads to a lot of the conditioning. It leads to further problems in our lives that we don't necessarily need to have anymore. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can let me know. Once again, the comments will be turned off here in about 3 minutes. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, you guys can go ahead and post them. To the best of my ability, I will try and answer all your questions. And towards the end of the reading too, I will pin the code that you can write down and use in my link in bio if you guys do want to look or schedule a service, okay? All of those services are going to be like 30-minute counseling sessions. If it's your first time, the reason why it's 50% off is just to allow me to get used to you, get to know your energy, and these are going to be like channeled message counseling guidance. So this isn't where I'm just gonna pen and paper and like counsel you. This is like, we're gonna call on your higher self, your spirit team, figure out what your blocks are, figure out what your trauma and your wounding is, and just kind of like set a goal plan and continue to work towards what you're trying to achieve in your life. Okay, so it might be recommended that you schedule more than one session, because you're not going to get everything out of what you're needing in one session. And that's why I'm offering for every third reading, you guys will get the 50% off as well. So all of my services are super inexpensive, super affordable. There's a lot of tarot readers on here and people that provide channeled messages. If you go and see their pricing, they're all like $200 and up just for a 40-minute tarot reading. You will find all of my services are under $100. Aside from this coaching one, it's just a little bit over $100. Just because it's a lot more energy work, and we're really focused on you and your energy and what we can do for your healing. So it's kind of like a mini coaching session. But like I said, your first session, you will get 50% off. And for every third session, you will get 50% off. Okay. So I hope that's making sense. So grab a pen and paper and we are going to be getting started. Sorry if I'm not always looking at the screen. This is not something that I memorized. I have my computer up here. I have a very, very productive mind, but me to like be able to retain and hold all of the information. I'm not a public speaker. None of this. Okay, this was very much spirit led to my journey. So you know, there was a time in my life where you couldn't have paid me enough money to come on TikTok and make videos and put my face out there like that, especially in regards to spirituality and all of this stuff, or to even hold and conduct live sessions. I was against it for about three years in my journey. It would just make me feel uncomfortable with so much energies coming in and everything. It would just overwhelm me. So I typically stayed away from it. But, you know, it's all about growth and development. Here we are now. So sorry if I'm not looking directly at the screen. It's not that I'm not trying to, you know, be talking to you on a personal level. It's just that there's a lot of information and I just want to make sure that we go over all the information. I'm trying to make this a little bit quicker live because I don't want to hold you guys up today. I know it's Saturday. I know we got things to do. For a lot of you guys, it could be extremely nice where you're at. So I'm just trying to, like, you know, make sure we could go outside and enjoy our day still and just briefly cover everything. It's actually 1:11 on the timer right now on the clock. So I am going to go ahead and shut the comments off. And this also helps me kind of filter out the trolls too. I tend to get a lot of those. Let me see if I can figure out even how to do this. I don't know. Settings. Yay. Okay. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so first and foremost, once again, I'm not a licensed professional. If you need further guidance, please seek professional guidance outside of me. That could be counseling, rehab services, anything like that. If you struggle with addiction at such a intense pace that you cannot get your own self out of it, you are perfectly capable of seeking that outside guidance for yourself, for control over your life. Okay, don't think that that's something that has to come to you because you get caught up or with the law, or you get a DUI or something like that. You always have the power to change your life when you're ready to. Okay. So addiction can come in many forms. It's not just substances or alcohol. All right, so sexual addiction, food addiction, money addiction, anything that you do out of moderation in regards to a certain fear. All right, fear of feeling your feelings, fear of not having enough, fear that resources will diminish, a sense of wanting to have it all, stemming from low confidence. The feeling that you want to have everything is coming from the fact that you feel like you're not able to obtain those things for you in your life. Not everything you do out of moderation can cause a full-blown addiction, but being aware of the signs of what you're doing out of moderation in your day-to-day can help you balance this without seeking licensed professional guidance, right? Because if we're seeking counseling or we're seeking rehab, and let's say like some of us don't have insurances, then we're having to pay out of pocket for those things. But I strongly encourage that you take the reins of your life for yourself instead of allowing God and the divine to intervene to cause that to happen for you, because that's a less pretty picture, okay? So the steps of honoring an addiction is honesty, being honest with yourself, admitting that you have a problem. This could be shopping, food. Once again, it's not just substances and alcohol. This is admitting, taking accountability that you have a problem with something. So some of you guys might still have addictions towards other things, okay? And this is just to be accountable on all aspects, like what are we addicted to? What are some things that we can clear up to be able to release the attachments of addiction over us? Because addiction really all stems from low vibration, okay? The next step is hope, believing that anything is possible through yourself, God, source, and the universe, whatever you believe in. All right. Faith, continuing our belief in the divine's power to help us, having a faith, right? And this comes from a long time too, because you can battle and struggle with addiction all the time and have a lost faith and slip back. Like the faith is what you have to continually have over yourself and over your life in order to grow and heal. You also have to have courage. So the bravery and motivation to endure all the seasons, to endure the withdrawals, to endure whatever that looks like just having in your mindset, like, this is not going to be pretty. This is not going to be easy. It's going to take work, right? To change, it takes work. You need motivation. You need action. You need persistence and integrity, being open and honest about what led you down the path to begin with. For my spiritual people, a lot of the time it's going to be generational cycles that you are called to break. Okay? And this can be even for a lot of people who don't even claim spirituality, that you don't even know anything about anything yet. Like, whatever path you're led down is a mode for you to help other people that have struggled in the same sense. We're all about the world. We're all about unity. That's God and the divine. They're all about having us be unity. Thank you for the gifts. And this is how are we spreading this, right? This is getting people out of addiction, like out of this like devilish, like low vibrational energy, for everybody to step into their full sense of self, to obtain the life that they're truly desiring for themselves, okay? And there also has to be that willingness to be able to learn, adapt, and heal, right? It's going to take work. You need to learn what led you down that path in the first place. You need to be able to adapt to certain places, new situations, making new friend groups, getting out of old friend groups, maybe transitioning and changing homes, maybe transitioning and changing locations, whatever it's going to take to allow you that space to make better choices, to stop living the same redundant lifestyle. And all I know is that anytime that I've ever experienced addiction, it led people down either the path of being unalive or the path of jail time and prison time. Okay. It's never a pretty thing. And I know a lot of people struggle with, how do I get out of these things? And the honest first spirituality step that I can tell you on how to get out of these things is to address your wounding, how to address your shadow, because your wounding and your trauma is what allows addiction to take its course over you. All right. And we also have humility. So this is knowing addiction is forever, being ready and like being capable of making that lifestyle change. Okay. So if you've had an out of moderation addiction to something, that addiction will always be there. So it's like learning new ways of how to either control it, right? So control food, shopping, all of that stuff. But when it comes to substances and alcohol, okay, this is like wiping it from us completely. In some cases, when you're first starting with this issue, you can't even be around other people who are doing this because it's an automatic slip back for you. If it's sexual addiction, what's the opposite of that kind of addiction? It's celibacy, it's abstinence, it's regaining your power, it's stopping feeding that need, okay? The next step is love, knowing that people will be harmed or affected by what you're doing, specifically for sexual addiction, drug addiction, and alcohol addiction. No matter what, you're not in your right state of mind, okay, for substances and alcohol. You are at an ultimate risk for harming yourself, harming your loved ones, and other people, okay? And especially if it's like, Uggs that's also struggling, how do you feed your addiction? You steal things, you break into vehicles, you take things that aren't yours to fix your need, right? And so like really that's all you're doing is harming everybody, including yourself. There is no benefit of it, period. All right. And I did put like this may go deeper than you think. So, really, I'm gonna leave that there. But we also need to take responsibility, like knowing that you have free will and you're accountable for all of your actions and your healing. So a lot of people don't want to have that responsibility. They just want to have reasons on why they do what they do and use that as an excuse to not change and better their life. And really they're harming themselves and other people. But, you always have free will. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to listen to this message, but we're highly encouraged that you do, right? But you are accountable for your actions and healing. That's going to drive me nuts. So I'll be right back. Alrighty. It's totally okay if everybody wants to watch from the outside. So the next step is discipline. So retraining your brain, reprogramming old conditioning, old ways of being, because a lot of the time addiction can stem from what we've learned as a child, what our parents used to do. So maybe when we were outside as kids, playing in the yard, our parents were always smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. Sorry if I'm probably going to get flagged for this, but, always drinking, having big parties where alcohol was always involved and all of this stuff. So it's how you're conditioned at early childhood that allows these things to happen for you. And I'm telling you right now, if that is the case for you and everybody that you've ever been around has been drinking or has always used, that's a generational cycle that you're probably honestly meant to break in your lifetime. Especially if you've seen how damaging it is to your life and other people's lives, okay? So this is kind of seeing the bigger picture on that and having the discipline to retrain your brain. Retraining your brain from old conditioning. Like, oh, alcohol's okay, but is it okay? Because it's physically a poison. You're poisoning your body and it will require your whole entire body to shut down. So please tell me the benefits of alcohol, because there's really not any. And to be honest, it is the most dangerous form. Heavy drugs and alcohol is the most dangerous, if you ask me. Okay. And I've done pretty much all of it. Okay. So this is also like, reconditioning, old conditioning, ways of being, and your thoughts and actions. Okay. Knowing the bigger picture, spiritual awareness, lifestyle change, prayer, meditation, yoga, exercise. And we'll tap into these further as well. Okay. And service. And this is like all honestly like in the 12 steps, and it makes so much sense in spirituality practices. That's why I wrote it down and kind of gave it my own perspective and spiritual twist, because it makes so much sense. And service is being a service to others is a powerful motivator to keep yourself going, to keep yourself sober, and also help other like-minded experienced souls like you to change their life. That's exactly why you're highly called to sometimes go down those darker paths, is to help and shed a light for other people, to show them what sobriety looks like, to show them how freeing your life can be when you no longer let addiction take the forefront of your life. Okay, and then we're going to tap in a little further. So using alcohol, substances, and eggs is, and I'm going to say eggs for, you know what I'm talking about, to fill a void. Okay, to fill a void. And these three are the most common form of addiction. So we typically use alcohol or other substances, things to mask or not be able to feel the pain from traumatizing situations, such as loss, breakups, separation, feeling like life has kicked you down, midlife crisis, unexpected passings, financial issues, generational cycles, wanting to have a good time, social awkwardness, sexual addiction feeds the need, mental illness, abuse, or habit formed into addiction. So that is typically the main categories of why somebody would use alcohol or other substances. I would say it 50 times if I could. All right, and this is going to be up on the tube of you if you guys miss any of this. Sorry, my computer's being like really weird. It says the thing is when you don't mask your emotions with substances, you don't have anything to turn to except yourself and God. The pain can be deep and excruciating. However, alcohol and substances will only make you feel worse and is a depressant. The longer we hold on to addiction, the longer we hold on to repressed trauma. The only way out of addiction is to heal what led you there in the first place. Pinpointing the source of your trauma and why you run to depressants instead of other healthy options. Or outlets is what I put. And then I kind of put a little spiel here for sexual addiction because that is a really, really huge factor in the world right now. Why so many people struggle to have true, real connections is because everybody wants to feed the need. How do you feed the need? Oh, because there's a bunch of women that want to express and honor their sexuality, and it just drives men crazy because men are sexual beings and everything like this. So we go into this cycle, you know, a lot of unhealed men, you know, chase the more, like, I don't want to say like pretty options, but other options because like they feel like those women are unobtainable. So it's like striving for something that you know that you'll never achieve. It's all like a hamster wheel of a shit show. Okay. But an sexual addiction is just as harmful, even though there may be mutual consent. You are still using someone physically for your own gratification. This is how unwanted pregnancy, STDs go on the rise, and they are way more common than we think they are. And trust me, anybody that works in healthcare will be able to tell you what specific STD will be on the rise. And to be honest, there's so many people out here that do not protect themselves. I highly encourage you guys to, like, if you have kids, please communicate to your kids, no matter how old you think they are. If they're about the age of 10, they're old enough to know about these things, okay? And I'm just speaking from experience. I have 4 kids. By the time they hit middle school, times have changed, okay? I'm saying that right now. Anyways. Okay. And this is also, so sexual intercourse is an energy exchange, meaning you will harness all of someone's karma and negative energy during the exchange, unless it's completely mutual, unless you're in complete alignment with that individual, right? Meaning that that's a good, healthy relationship. Why God always tells us, wait until you're married, save yourself for marriage, because it's a literal energy exchange. And a lot of people that like hook up in the bar scene and everything, if you're not really that low vibration and that person is, you're harnessing all of that energy. All right, so celibacy and abstinence is key on maintaining and learning sexual control. You should not allow passion and desire to rule your life. This stems from a wounding of feeling like you are not deserving of good things. This also symbolizes the easy way out of feeling heartache and pain. But this does not make the pain go away until you recall your power back and heal your wounding of what got you here in the first place. The feeling of being wanted with no attachments, emotionally avoidant, is a red flag to anybody. All right, living in fantasy of needing to have every pretty person on your belt, insatiable desire and lust demons, okay? Look at it from the bigger picture. And if we're putting a spiritual twist on this, there are things called dark body succubus. We call those Jezebel spirits. These are literally demons that will be attached to people that you meet at bars, especially if you're a man or a woman of God or a child of the divine. However you see yourself, you put yourself in low vibrational situations like that, there you will be set up. You will be set up for real. Okay? So that's the dark body, right? So like the darkness, dark body. Demonic succubus. They will drain your life force, try and get pregnant, try and ruin your life, give you STDs, cheat on you, all of that. Okay. Those are attachments to people. And when you have with them, you're getting the attachment onto your body. Okay. Light body. So this is for my divinely chosen ones. When you change from dark body to light body, they're considered sirens. Okay. And sirens are the type that they don't have to try to obtain what they desire. They're just desired based on their energy that they portray. Okay. And that's the like hard to get type energies, because a lot of people in light body energy, they know their worth, they're understanding and deserving of their worth. Okay. But mainly results from alcohol and substance addiction. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. So like the actual addiction, it mainly results from substance and alcohol addiction. Okay, just to let you guys know, like so many other demons can attach to your energy. We kind of covered that. A sense of not feeling good enough for true love or happiness, accepting less than energy because you don't feel like you're deserving of finding that true mate, or you're getting impatient waiting on that true mate. But a lot of the time that true mate won't come until you're in a certain level of enlightenment or a certain level of alignment, which the only way to obtain that is to by healing your trauma, to find a naturally aligned higher vibrational being to actually share and be with. So the longer that you are alone, or you don't meet anybody, or you're only meeting low vibrational people and you're only having low vibrational relationships, that is a signal that you have some trauma from within you that needs to be worked and processed to stop you from meeting the same people over and over and over again. And addiction can also be damaging to your health. So this is mental health, physical health, emotional, and spiritual health. It's harmful to others. It can create confrontations, physical abuse, DUIs, automobile accidents, etc. This can honestly harness actual assault charges, all of these kinds of things, because when you're out of your body, out of your mind and your body, you can actually make not like the kind of actions that you would take and normally have being sober, right? Your emotions are more running high. You can start misunderstanding things because you're impaired. So really you're starting to take everything as like people are attacking you, or you're getting more confrontational. It really just, it doesn't serve any good. Okay. And mental effects. Okay, so now we're going to tap in. So the mental effects of addiction. Addiction can affect your mental health, making you feel worse after you're done. So hangovers, withdrawals, even more lower sense of being due to guilt, and amplify mental illness, making you feel more stuck, making you feel more tied down. It's essentially lowering your vibration. Even green, even weed lowers your vibration. It can also be an addiction. That's why people a lot of the time call it the gateway drug, even though a lot of people don't want to admit that, because it is, and I will honestly say it is a lot different than other things out here, because it is natural, but it has very addictive tendencies when you're using it as a form of masking or making yourself feel better, or kind of like to numb or void out what you're feeling on the inside. Okay. So anything can be dangerous if it's done out of moderation. Okay. And some of us are different than others. So it's like we need to completely steer away from everything to be in our own full mental capacity and our own full sense of being, without anything outside of us taking the forefront. Okay. The physical effects, we can damage our bodies, such as stomach, heart, brain, kidneys, and liver, costing us our time, money, health, and our life, shortening our life, which a lot of the time we don't actually start understanding the true meaning of life until we hit about like 30, maybe 35, 40. And then we're wishing that we made better choices at a younger age when we were starting to get older. That's why you see a lot of more like older people, like 30s, 40s, 50s, really starting to go on a exercise regimen, starting to eat healthy, really taking care of their bodies, because it's like they're trying to make up for all of the years that they really just went gung-ho on their body, not caring, being in low vibration. But yeah, it costs us our time, money, health, and life. Right? You care more about going to the bar than you do playing with your kids outside, certain stuff like that. So please, only take like what resonates and fits for you, but it's completely true. Like where are you investing your time and energy? If it's only with parties and people and everything, then that's honestly pretty sad. But financial effects, one of the worst things you can do when you're struggling with money is pour every dime into addiction. Just by saving money from not using substances, you can invest in yourself and also have extra money to do things that will empower your life and create a reality where you can have fun. This can also affect your job responsibility, having you call out on days you're feeling ill, and can result in job loss or financial hiccups. The personal effects, feeling triggered, lashing out, treating others in a way and demeanor you wouldn't soberly treat them. This in turn will ruin relationships with the people you love most, friends, family, significant others. Emotional effects, feeling like a failure, that you messed up, self-doubt, procrastination, regret, not being able to fully understand or remember things. Spiritual effects, blocking you from your intuition, from your higher self, blocking out God and your angels because substances lower your vibration. Allowing demonic entities, attachments onto you. It's called spirits for a reason. Go into Total Wine and More. What section are you going into? It's called spirits for a reason. Making you feel more lustful, more passionate. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Making poor decisions such as unprotected sex, unwanted pregnancy, STDs, Jezebel, succubus, demons to latch onto you and drain your light body energy and vibration. And that's why they attack. It's like you signal a green light to them. Like, oh, that person has a pure aura. Let me just go over there and drain their life force. Y'all really don't think that this crap exists, but it truly does. I promise you, it truly does when you see the bigger picture. Okay? And now we're going to tap in even further. For Dawn, if that's just you in here, thank you for staying. But literally, this is going to be posted on YouTube, so it doesn't even matter how many people are in here. I know there's probably a bunch of people watching from the outside, and that's okay because it just needs to be said. So I know, it's just one glass of wine. It's just weed. It's just one hit, etc., etc. If you feel this way of what I just said, it's just one glass of wine, it's just weed, it's just one hit. If you feel this way, really ask yourself what the benefits are from you drinking or using. This is where your pen and paper come from in handy, okay? So if you feel that way, if you kind of got triggered, like, oh, it's just one glass of wine, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just one beer. It's just weed. It's just one hit. One hit's a little bit different because that will in turn like ruin your entire life sometimes. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to turn you guys. But that's what I want you to jot down. Okay. So if you need to take some time to jot that down, that'd be great. Thank you guys so much for the likes and the gifts if I'm missing them. Okay. You want to relax, right? That's one of them. It relaxes me. Okay. Find healthy ways to relax. Spiritual bath, read a book, watch a movie, spend time with your family. And I put, if that's relaxing to you. I'm a single mom of 4 kids, so that's not typically how I want to relax, but I love to spend quality time with them too. Spending time with your typically how I want to relax, but I love to spend quality time with them too. Spending time with your pets, taking your pets out for walks, taking your pets out to dog parks, those types of things, camping, going out, experiencing life. Now, I do understand we can't do all of these things year round, but this is like, how can I self-care myself? How can I make different choices that will relax me without feeling like I just need to have a glass of wine, or you know what I'm saying? Okay. And take yourself out for a treat, spoil yourself, take yourself out to dinner, take yourself out to a movie. You don't always need to have a significant other or something to better your life. Like, enjoy your life fully, no matter what season you're in, okay? And I promise you, it will be so beneficial. It will bring so much like true rewards to your soul, because you're not feeling like, oh, well, let me just go to the bar because I have like no friends or whatever. You don't want those kind of people as your friends anyways. They're low vibrational. All you're doing is spending more and more money. Pool, darts, whatever it is, bar hopping, going to different bars, like it's not beneficial. It's draining your money. Imagine how much money you could truly save if you didn't do any of that. You would save so much money. You can invest, you can plan for trips, like, you know what I'm saying? All right, you're lonely. That's another indicator you're lonely. Spend time with sober friends. Spend time with family. Okay? And I know not everybody has friends and family, and that's okay too. Take a daycation for yourself. Take a road trip for yourself. Or a true vacation, help serve the community and involve yourself with people. Involve yourself with people who could use your guidance or support, right? Like, give back to the community. Maybe go help volunteer if you have the time. Volunteer with young kids if kids are like really drawn to you. Help serve the homeless in your community. Help feed the homeless in your community. Help do something to make the world a better place, okay? Go for walks, hikes, or the gym. Anything outdoors is going to help ground your energy. Anything that you're doing to your physical body to make yourself stronger, it's making your body healthier. It also makes your mind healthier. Foods is very, very important. We say eat all colors of the rainbow. Okay, that's what we say because chakras depict the rainbow. And that's very, very important, right? You want to ground your energy, wear more red. You can use energy crystals as well, too. Anything red or black crystal wise. I don't know if there's too many black foods, but, any kind of like red food, red apples, strawberries, pomegranates, those kinds of things are really going to help ground your energy. Once you know how your body and your system works on a spiritual level, it's a lot easier because you don't have time to think like, what am I missing? What am I missing out on? In the real world, because it's like you have so much purpose and practice within yourself. It's like you don't even have time to think about what life is on the outside. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is we really don't need alcohol or substances to make us feel better when we feel whole on our own. If you feel whole on your own inside of yourself, you don't need alcohol or substances or even honestly people, places, or things to make you feel better. You don't need money to always have a good time. You don't even necessarily need people to have a good time. If you struggle with money, to go out and do the things you desire, then you need to work on your money mindset, right? So like if you are kind of more of like a homebody, like, oh, I really don't have the time or I don't have the money to do these things. And a lot of people too, like when you notice a downshift in your finances, say job loss, or you've been missing like a lot of days and your finances are depleting, those are all indications from spirit that you need to make a change. This is not a stable way of living. You know, how you show up for yourself is how everything else in your life shows up for you. A lot of the time, if you have issues with a mind, like a poor money mindset, that's going to also block you. Okay. You are in control and in charge of your life. You are literally capable of doing anything. You just need to take the small action steps and commit to get there. That's really all it takes. Baby steps and commitment. And everybody looks at trying to achieve their goals like they have to make these like large leaps and they have to get to this point and everything like that, because that's what your ego is telling you. But really, if you want to make a certain goal a reality, you write that goal down and you list off. You remember the little webs in English that we used to do for like rough drafts and stuff? Do that. Have your main goal. Branch out different things. How are you going to obtain this goal in the middle? Okay, step 1. So put step 1 over here in your bubble. What are some things that I need to do to get to step 1? Step 2. What are the things that I need to get to step 2? And then when you master that one section, you go to another section, you master that section. And then pretty soon you've started to change everything. And that main goal is now achievable because you've been putting little action steps and believing, right? Because when we can achieve the small baby steps, that allows our brain and our conscious and our subconscious to actually believe that we're capable of changing. Everybody is capable of changing. The more that you tell yourself, I can't change, or that's just how I am, that's your ego. That's your conformities, okay? That's not a sense of being. Everybody is completely willing, and like it's actually required in our soul's growth to change, to heal. We're forever changing. We're forever growing. And if you're not changing and you're not growing, then you're doing something wrong. Okay? If you're bored, you need to find new healthy hobbies. If you're bored in your love life, if you're bored in your normal day-to-day, you need to find new hobbies or options to make yourself feel better. New hobbies. What can you do that is within your budget that you can do for healthy hobbies? I don't care if it's getting a freaking thing of yarn at Walmart and learning how to knit or crochet. Like, the only people who complain about being bored are people that don't want to do anything else to compensate that, you know? I get that a lot with people because I am a love reader as well. So I deal with a lot of love and relationships. So I get people that's just like, oh, you know, I'm tired of being lonely, I'm bored, and all of this stuff. And it's like, well, the reason why you're lonely and you're bored is because you're not doing anything outside of yourself. You're sitting and waiting in like expectation, waiting for things to change instead of like changing the actual outcome of your situation and your life. And that's the difference. Okay. And write the new healthy hobbies or options. And what I mean by options is I'm not using that as a form of people finding new options. I'm meaning like non-mind altering mocktails. Like if you can't stop drinking, try non-alcoholic beer. I never like fully recommend this though, because it's like taking one addiction and still like kind of feeding the need. But I mean, whatever works for you, right? So like I struggled with cigarettes for a long time. I use a vape. Okay, so that is kind of like feeding one addiction to the other, but at least this addiction that I'm still working on isn't as harmful as the previous one that I used to do. So sometimes it takes it into steps. Other times you'll just stop completely cold turkey, whatever works for you. So mocktails, they have mushroom coffee, mushroom gummies are a trend right now. It's not the ones that cause hallucinogens or anything like that. This isn't like a microdose or anything. This is like natural mushrooms and stuff that are very, very healthy for your brain support and your brain function. So if a lot of you guys struggle with mental illness, or like ADHD, anything like that, a lot of those things are going to be really, really good for you. Okay. Because a lot of the time, people with ADHD or mental illness, especially ADHD, that you feel like you need to slow down, a lot of the time you're trying to compensate with the depressant. So that's going to look like alcohol or weed, right? But instead, like, right, what counteracts that stimulation is honestly like the brain activity. And alcohol and weed is not the way to suppress, because you're suppressing like everything. So when we're doing the damaging stuff, it's like we're suppressing everything, including our emotions, our vibration, and stuff like that, instead of just suppressing what is the problem. Okay. So these are just some recommendations. And that's why I said I don't really recommend replacing one thing with another. However, if you can't shake the habit, you can try these things, okay? The difference is you're not lowering your vibration. And that's what I was just talking about. You're not feeling sick. You're not feeling lost or stuck later on, because you still have a conscious awareness within your mind. Okay, you will remain high vibrational, have total control over all of your decision making and your thoughts. Feeling a need to drink or use is a mass indicator that a specific chakra or all chakras are blocked, mainly the lower chakra system. So that looks like your root chakra, your sacral chakra, or your solar plexus chakra. This is where we all really struggle a lot with, okay? Because that's where all of our trauma resides. Or that you have some trauma healing or generational cycles to break. Oh yeah, we took it a step further here. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. We're going to cover every single aspect here, okay? So the root chakra symbolizes childhood trauma, financial stress, unstable living conditions, and physical trauma. So this is insecurity, anxiety, fear, distraction, rushing task to task, stress and depression, lower back pain. This is what it means to have an imbalanced root chakra. So if you resonate with any of these, you need to start working on the base of your chakras. Learn about the chakra system. If you have any questions, I will open the comments later when we get close to the end of this live. You can always DM me. My DMs are always open for you guys, okay? Lower back pain, leg problems, fatigue, constipation, bone and joint issues, weakened immune system, difficulty sleeping, weight gain or weight loss, pelvic pain, incontinence, lack of trust, difficulty concentrating, making decisions, feeling isolated, disconnected from oneself or others, feeling ungrounded or unstable. And I will say this too, like, mental illness is what you allow it to be. A lot of the time, why we think that we have depression and anxiety and ADHD and like all of these things mentally wrong with us is because there's something that's blocked within the mental capacity of our consciousness. So it's like the more that you heal, the more that you open up your consciousness, these things will no longer take the full reins over your life. Okay. I do understand that some of us do need to, take a certain medication and everything like that. They tried to put me on antidepressants for anxiety and depression a long time ago, and I did not like the way it made me feel. And so, I was looking for more so like healthy options. Like, how do I do this? I actually didn't use any substances at all. I started rewiring my brain. Not saying that like it's completely taken the triggers and everything away from me. I'm very, very sensitive when it comes to like loud banging, loud chewing, stuff like that. I'm still working on myself, right? I'm still a work in progress. But when it comes to feeling the like intense like heart rate or being like fearful of situations, I've worked through that. I no longer have a fear. So I no longer experience that part of anxiety. Depression is like everything is what you allow it to be. So the more that you tell yourself up here that you have a specific problem, the more that will actually manifest in your life, if that makes sense. Okay. And so the sacral chakra, when you have blockages, it can create an imbalance, emotional trauma, abuse or neglect. So this is detachment, loneliness, low self-esteem, insecurity, lack of emotional expression, stifled creativity. So do you see how like these are all going to be in regards to certain addictions that you have? So more of like the sacral chakra imbalance is going to signify sexual addiction. Root chakra is going to be more drugs and alcohol addiction, right? See how it's like making sense here, right? Spiritual and 3D. It always makes sense. It always does. Okay. So insecurity, lack of emotional expression, stifled creativity, addictions, right in here is like when you're researching it too. Okay. Fear of change, low libido, reproductive urinary issues, body stiffness, hormonal imbalance, lack of joy, pleasure, difficulty having fun, repressed creativity. The solar plexus is trauma, abuse, suppressing emotions, lack of self-worth and validation, feeling powerless or dominated, negative thoughts and or beliefs. I'm gonna get a drink really quick. We got a lot of pollen in the air where I'm at, so like my throat is just like so signals of a blocked solar plexus is digestive issues, stomach aches or ulcers, pancreatitis, liver issues, back pain, stiffness, low self-esteem, lack of confidence or lack of purpose, difficulty expressing emotions, feeling powerless or controlled, procrastination or apathy, confusion or indecisiveness, difficulty concentrating, overthinking, negative self-talk, feeling disconnected from reality. And so when you start like honestly like seeing all of this stuff and how it's just a simple chakra blockage that's making your body do all of these things that it doesn't want to do because you're trying to find peace and harmony, but you're looking for it in the wrong way. That's what leads to addiction. Because what is the most enticing thing? The devil. What does the devil entice you with? Low vibrational things that look so great, like the party life and like the yacht club parties and drinking on boats and partying with friends. It looks like the lavish life of all. But it's not. It's not. Not saying that you can't enjoy yourself, but like you can enjoy yourself and do those things without having to entertain a certain specific substance that's later on going to depress your soul or cause attachments or cause unwanted things to happen in your life. Okay. And then the last one that we covered is the heart chakra. So the lower 4 chakras are going to be signifying like your blockages, where a lot of people have blocks which cause addiction. So this is going to be your heart chakra. This is the most impactful one, okay? But like solar plexus, right? We're like our low confidence, we're seeking like the fake friends, we're seeking the connection, the relationships. That's all stemming from solar plexus sacral. Okay, the root chakra more signifies like your childhood trauma, the generational curses, cycles, and all of that stuff. But once you start understanding how to unblock your chakras, you start unblocking your entire life. Okay. So the heart is emotional trauma, negative experiences, lack of self-love, overthinking, and closed-mindedness. This is from expressing, receiving love. That's what helps. Okay. All right. What I'm meaning by expressing and receiving love is it makes it difficult to express or to receive love when you have a blocked heart chakra. Okay. Due to betrayal, rejection, unresolved pain, grief, or loss, abandonment, feeling unworthy, feeling unlovable, dwelling on negative thoughts or past emotions or past thoughts, inability to open up to others or to experience love, chest pain, heart palpitations, breathing problems, poor circulation, challenges with trust, intimacy, and forgiveness, self-doubt, and indifference to life and stagnation. Healing can be equally just as hard to do. It's hard to heal, right? It's hard to heal. And that's why a lot of the time people use addiction is because they don't know what to heal or how to heal, or they're not ready to, okay? Because it looks like a big dangerous place. But I'll let you know right now, as hard as it is to feel things, it's hard to feel things, but it's so beneficial for your life. It will transform your life entirely. Not to mention, it does not cost you police fines. It doesn't cost you jail time. It doesn't cost you health issues or risking your life, putting other people's lives at risk, jeopardizing your relationships. It will actually improve them. It provides the sense of pure freedom and to attract good, positive things into your life. Is it easy? No, but it's truly rewarding. Most people choose addiction over healing, not because it's too hard or they can't stop the addiction, more so because they have no one to turn to and no one shedding the light on how to heal. Can I get an amen? Amen. And that's why I'm here. Okay? There's a lot of people in the tarot community that will tell you as well, or the spiritual community, sorry, that, oh yeah, you have inner child wounding. You have all of these traumas. And it's like, cool, you have like all of this whole fucking page work of what's wrong with you. And that's all they give you. Okay, toodle on. Nobody's telling you what abandonment looks like, what that looks like, how to heal through that. Right? And not to mention, this is exactly why I have 2 people in this live stream. Nobody wants to hear the shit. But it doesn't matter. It's not going to fucking stop me. I don't care. Like, there's not enough people on here talking about addiction, talking about how to heal. And I'm sick of it. And so that's why I made this series. So if you're still sitting here and you're watching all of this, like, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much for the likes. And thank you for showing up. Thank you for wanting to help be the change. Thank you for being the change. Thank you for supporting me, because literally, like, this is the true reason why all of us are here. Once we shed off all of the things that are over us, that are so easy to stop doing, that like literally puts so much hold over our life. Like, it truly breaks my heart to see people struggle with drug addictions and what it does to them. And one false swoop and somebody's overdosing and they no longer are with us, or no longer with their kids, no longer fulfilling their purpose, just because, due to the fact that they were so lost, because they didn't feel like they had anybody to turn to. They didn't feel like they had any resources. They felt the need that nobody would understand them. Nobody would help them on how to heal without asking for a damn paycheck. I don't operate that way. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm saying, like, maybe this isn't even something that you need to hear today. But if you're taking notes, and I'm so sorry if I've skimmed over things too quickly, you are more than welcome to view this later on YouTube and kind of skim to the pieces that you need to, if you would like to share the word to other individuals in your life that you know that this could help empower. Because I know very specifically this was a large calling over my life in my specific area, because literally I live in a pretty small area, okay? And that's all anybody does is drink alcohol. Everybody around, everybody's been with everybody. Unwanted pregnancy, STDs, teen pregnancy, plenty of addicts out here, meth and fentanyl, heroin is big up in this area. That's all anybody does out here. Okay? It's truly so sad. And how many people have been overdosing and dying on fentanyl at about ages like 20 to 30 is completely heartbreaking to me. And this stuff is completely avoidable. We don't have to let it get that freaking bad if we can start like helping implement change in people, like figuring out why you feel the need to use that, why you feel the need to fit in to use drugs in the first place, why you feel so eager the need to fit in, to go to the bars just to get friendships and all of this stuff. Like, once you start working on yourself and healing on yourself and putting yourself back out there and not being afraid, or not stemming from a place of wounding, that's how you can call in true friendships, true aligned individuals into your life that will be truly beneficial to you, that won't hurt you. But it comes from a level on what you're willing to accept and how you see and view yourself. And everything that is in that bracket stems from your inner child, how you view yourself, how you care and show up for yourself. A lot of people truly do not love themselves. They don't like to be alone. They don't like their own company. And that's equally just as scary. Okay. But you know, if you guys need help at all with channeling your energy, and this is what I'm talking about with our my new healing one-on-one coaching services, that's going to be link in bio. You get 50% off today for being here if you want to book a session. Okay. I get to the source of what you need to heal. Okay. Because I'm not a counselor. I'm not a licensed counselor. I'm a channeler. I'm a divine being. So I channel energy. Okay. And this was a beautiful way for me to acknowledge that are still some people in the spiritual community, even people that aren't in the spiritual community. You know, you can tell them too, like, hey, there's this girl, she puts a spiritual aspect on things. She can get to the cause and root, you know, of why you're battling this addiction. Maybe people that are super battling with addiction, they're not even going to be open to the healing for themselves to begin with. And that's okay. But I just wanted to make sure that I offered that service to other individuals so that it's always there. All right. Because I can tap in further to see what the wounding is, what chakras are blocked, what their angels and guides have for them, you know, where their purpose is leading them, where they need to go. So it's very, very beneficial if anybody's struggling with addiction of any kind. It does not just have to be substances and alcohol. Okay. So this is just giving you guys the tools on how to heal, how to fight addiction. And once again, I have very, very cost-effective services, link in bio. All of my readings, all of my channelings, all of my coursework, they're all roughly, the only thing that's a little bit over 100 is the coaching sessions, but technically it's under 100 because you get 50% off. And for every third coaching session that you schedule, you get an additional 50% off. Okay. Because I know sometimes these services are not going to be done in just one session. Okay. But literally all of my tarot readings, energy checks, personal growth. If you don't feel the need to get a coaching session, my personal growth readings are $44.44 before sale price. I constantly run sales on all of my readings. Okay. And they're there for you all the time if you guys need them. Okay. My link is in my bio. If you hit my face, it's Intuitive Leader Store. That is my link where you will be able to see all of my platforms. I highly encourage you to follow me over on all of my platforms. But when you scroll to the bottom, it will have all of the services that I provide. The coaching service will be provided after I get off today's live session. And then if you guys do want the code, if you guys showed up today, if you'd like the code, I will pin it to the comments when I turn the comments back on. And then also if you missed it in the comment section, you guys can DM me. I probably will put the code somewhere on YouTube too. For anybody that's watching that over there, you guys will have the code if you didn't get a chance to get it or receive it. Okay, babes? Let me see. Also, yeah, you guys also know, like, I post a mass variety of free content covering all of these aspects, right? I'm always open to new suggestions to help you if money's tight, but I'm always open to suggestions. So a couple of the series that we're going to be doing, this one was a lot bigger, so I wasn't going to be doing recorded videos. I just, you know, these aspects, like if you want to learn and how to heal yourself in these series, there's going to be a healing series tab on my tube of you that you can click. So whatever you're struggling with, this is just the first session. So maybe a lot of you guys are already out of addiction, which that's amazing. The next one's going to be abuse, but there's always good key pieces in here that can help us or help somebody else, which is why I started with these ones, is because these are the most struggled with forms in the world right now. But we are going to be deepening into mental illness, inner child healing, what your wounding looks like. So all of these live sessions will be in a playlist that you can utilize anytime on my Tube of You channel. Okay. But some of the video series that I'm going to be starting to do here soon I'm still getting everything situated away because your birth charts hold a lot of information. So we're going to be doing this series of what's in your chart, and I'm going to be tapping into every piece of your chart and saying like what the meanings are for your specific placement in your chart to better understand yourself on a soul level. And I feel like both of these things go hand in hand. It's super important to know what's in your chart because it shapes who you are as an individual, and also having all of the modes on how to heal yourself in the healing series. So just both of these things that I'm branching off with right now is like the key, the true key to healing. Like it's making it so easy for everybody. And then once we kind of branch out, then I'm going to start having more healing series where we can kind of like tap into the shadow. I can give you some indicators on good journals that I do use. I always recommend somebody to have like a form of journal for shadow works, whether that's like a pre-printed one or just a blank journal that you journal in for your shadow work. Very important, right? We need to take our healing very seriously. One for manifesting, because that helps set our goals and ambitions in the focal point of our brains. Even if like all of our manifestations don't come to fruition, this is still allowing us to put goals and desires out there in the universe, out there for ourselves, okay? And then we are going to be tapping into also how to heal relationships. All right. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up over the rest of this year and going into next year. Oh, this is what I was going to talk to you guys about. Okay. Where is that? I have also multiple subscription offers. So if you guys, let me see, can I look at my own self? Yeah, I can. Okay. So if you go to the, I don't know if it's heal. Let me see. I can't really look. But if you guys go to my subscriptions, I have 3 different options for subscriptions. Now, if you're a subscriber, there's like the first basic one that's just helping to support my channel. I think it's like $3.99 a month, super inexpensive. That just helps me out so much. But there's 2 other options that are also very inexpensive. And you get free readings every month and discounted readings as well of your choice. I'm going to go ahead and turn the comments back on. Where did I find that before? Settings. Okay. Perfect. Comments are back on. Thank you guys so much for all of the likes and the shares, follows, the gifts if I missed them, okay? But the subscriptions are really like extremely unaffordable for you. It's more for you guys than for me, because if you guys subscribe to me, it's like an equal exchange of energy, right? Like I get probably like a really, really tiny monthly amount from you guys, but it's more beneficial for you guys. You guys get free readings every month. You get discounted readings and all of this stuff too, okay? Also, if you ever want to be a moderator on any of my live streams, like if you show up for my lives and everything like that, you also get discounted services for being a moderator. So if you guys are ever interested in any of those things, I mean, you can always subscribe at any time. I have multiple options up there, but if you guys are interested in becoming a moderator and you can make at least like 1 live session every week, like you get benefits just for showing up one day for a couple hours a week. Okay. So I just thought I'd talk about that. Also, as we're wrapping up, if you are in active addiction with substances or you feel like you absolutely cannot stop drinking or using, please seek medical attention from a rehab center or counseling professional. Your life matters and you are loved. All right. We as humans need to be more mindful on how truly damaging it is to yourself and others, whether you think of it as an addiction or not. That's how it forms. Okay. We need to get behind the reasoning. Like if you don't care about yourself, right? Because a lot of people, like if you say like how truly damaging it is to yourself and others, they'll care about the damage to others, but they don't care about the damage to themselves. And it's like, if you don't care about yourself and others, then you really need to get behind that reasoning, like why you don't care about yourself. Is it a fear of rejection, a fear of not belonging, which really comes up in your birth chart, in your trauma? Okay. My services are always open to you guys. My subscriptions are in my profile. My link is in my bio. So if you click my face or go to my profile at any time, you'll be able to see my live events, my subscriptions. Those are my first 2 tabs. And then my store is going to be in my bio. So the link is in my bio underneath my face. All right. My DMs are always open for any questions. And yeah, hopefully you guys liked today's live session. And we will be doing our next one. I believe it's May 3rd. It's in the live calendar though, if you guys want to. Yeah, so the birth chart, your major wounding in this lifetime is going to stem from your Chiron placement. It's CHIRON. That is your wounding. So my Chiron's in Cancer, and I'm going to be tapping into this stuff too, you know, on our video series, but my Chiron's in Cancer. So I have a fear of abandonment, that everybody leaves me and everything like that. It comes from your soul self. If you start really tapping into your Akashic records, it's really going to make a lot of sense too. A lot of people that were born and around the same time, right? Because your Chiron the Chiron placement only switches like once every so many years. So it's like a large group of us have the same wounding because a lot of us originated from the same star beings, from the same origins of where our soul truly originates from. And there's some like core soul wounding that you've experienced. You know, we could really tap in to that, but it really shapes a lot on why your life had to be orchestrated the exact way that it did when you were born. There's always a much bigger picture that what your soul has went through before you actually reincarnated as a human being individual. Okay. A lot of the time we come to Earth to learn lessons, and that's the main reason, to open up to healing, to free ourselves from anything holding us back, to free our soul further, and really just radiate in the 5D, creating heaven on earth. But if you really think about like your certain birth chart and how it aligns, right? Because we all originate from stars. What is the birth chart? It's astrology, it's stars. A lot of people just think that we have 9 planets in the galaxy we have 9 planets. Oh, God made the galaxy. Why did he make the galaxy? Why did he make the 9 planets? So really expanding your knowledge, because we don't come from Earth. We're sent here. This is literal physical hell. Where does the devil originate? Earth. Not the other outer beings. So why were we truly sent here? So this is like opening a big bracket. I mean, we could get however deep we need to get, but there's a large sense of not knowing the full situation, because anybody that practices the Bible and religion, they'll just be like, oh yeah, we have Neptune and Pluto and everything, and they don't know. Like, you mean to tell me like God Source Universe had this great creation of every human being, human thing in the existence outside of Earth, but nobody understands or has any inkling or nudges onto like why he made the whole fucking solar system? That nobody on physical Earth can get to or obtain. It's literally how I feel. But, you know, that's a separate topic for a different day. But, you know, this is just like really seeing the bigger picture on like, why are we here? A lot of people don't understand, like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And like, that's your purpose, to heal, to learn the lessons, to ascend, to heal from your lessons. Like, that's really it. We're setting our soul free. But if you're only looking at it from the negative standpoint of like, oh, all I've had to do, like, my life has been shit, all I've had was lesson after lesson, and you're not seeing the beautiful pieces, if you're not enjoying the journey on the way, you'll miss the whole point of life, because you've never been able to experience like the good parts of your life, because you've been so focused on what the lessons were and all of the negative shit. So it's really kind of a bummer. And especially when people waste their life away with addiction, they can't even be their full self. Imagine how their true soul feels, because that 3D, version of them is like masking everything on how they feel, or like their sense of growth and evolution, you know? So then it's like if they max out in prison or their life ends abruptly, then it's like they have to reincarnate and go through the same fucking shit, just a different vessel. Like it never stops, you know what I'm saying? If you want to know your soul purpose, I can always do a personal growth reading and try and tap into that for you. My link's in my bio. But thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you guys for being here, especially you, Dawn. Thank you for being here with me the entire session. I truly appreciate you. I love you guys. This is going to be uploaded on the Tube of You. If you have any questions, you can DM me directly. My DMs are open. Or if you would like to write down or take notes from today's session, this is going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel. I have the same name over on YouTube, so make sure you're following me over there. And this is going to be in the Healing Series playlist, okay? I love you guys. Have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you next time.